And that is that if you have ever gone into some of our neighborhoods and listened to the language of our young people. I watched over the holiday weekend Boys in the Hood because I bought the tape. And they talked like some of the youngsters I have seen in areas perhaps that we would not enter. So
Betty Shabazz was born on May 28, 1934. She lived in Detroit most of her childhood.
Turn them over or turn them off. But what I want us to do is accept part of the responsibility. And we can't blame everything that our youth are into on someone else. And so that we must look at this crisis and understand that it is the result of neglect.
That's right.
It is the result of greed.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It is the result of misuse. Mm-hmm. And it is the result of a lot of us not really recognizing the oppression that
After
exists.
high school, Betty studied at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. She had left the school in 1953 to study at the Brooklyn State College of Nursing. In both institutions, she endured racism, being more extreme at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama due to
was trying to tell me at the train station.
South.
But I wanted to be my own person. I wanted to make my own decisions. I wanted to be rid of her trying to tell me what to do. And I was 16, and by now knew what I wanted to do. And what she was trying to tell me was about the racism in the South. Not that it did not exist in Detroit, but you live under a kind of protection when you're with your parents. And the train stopped on a hill. And the guy said to me, come on, come on, come on, come on. And I said, how am I going to get down there? He said, jump. No stool, no anything. I knew instantly what my mother was talking about. But yet, when I tried to get answers from her about the treatment, about the oppression, about the racism, about the select treatment, she didn't want to deal with it. She wanted to not talk about it so that it would go away.
After attending a few of Malcolm X's services,
and I've seen some of the same signs that a lot of
changing her
adults
surname to X
have not
to
really
represent the
listened to
loss
their
of her
children
African ancestry.
and have not really understood what they are going through. So that I think that we have neglected them too long. Okay. And we've got to resurrect that.
Being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly.
Malcolm X was one-fourth white. His mother's father was Scottish.
Toward the lamb. The fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate. I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
I would agree.
Letter
that,
X represents the unknown
there's
and
a
is
large
used
number
by black Muslims to symbolize the
whites who
original
oppose
and
the
unknown
liberals
last
and his
name of
friends,
their
the Negro,
African
who
slave ancestors.
time and again betrayed the Negro.
He
On
was
the other
born
hand, I
in
think we
Omaha,
point
Nebraska
to a
on
large
May
number of
19th,
whites, who have
1925.
struggled for civil rights,
Give me
for
an example.
equality, and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay. I'll be more specific.
In 1946, Malcolm was sentenced to prison for breaking and entering and stealing property.
Negro job rights, for example, in New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital.
In 1958, Malcolm married Betty X. They had 6 daughters, including a set of twins who were born after Malcolm died.
Herbert Hill brought his forces out and stopped the working on that site. This is the first time I ever saw him. Then when work was brought to a halt on a hospital in Harlem, the same Negroes tried to stop the work at the Downstate Medical Center in Brooklyn, which is predominantly white. They were out there for 3 months during the summer. Couldn't stop anything. And I never saw Herbert Hill out there one time. Now, whenever it takes a stoppage of something that's going to affect the white man, you find the white liberal absent. But when it involves something that primarily will affect the...
On March 26, 1964, he met Martin Luther King Jr. in Washington, D.C. After a press conference was followed by men attending the Senate to hear the debate on the Civil Rights Bill.
A black man with the type of knowledge and understanding of the labor troubles involving black people that would enable a black man to sit in the same position as Secretary of Labor or Labor Secretary in the NAACP. I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who
Malcolm X was shot and killed on February 21st, 1965, while giving a speech at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City. He was 39 years old.
I would defend his sincerity and his commitment. And more than that, I would say that just because a person is a Negro or a black American does not mean that he's going to struggle for Negro rights or for jobs for Negroes or anything else. I think that today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
The funeral of Malcolm X was held on February 27th at the Faith Temple, Church of God in Christ in Harlem. The church was filled to the capacity with more than 1,000 people. Loudspeakers were set up outside the temple so the overflowing crowd could listen, and a local television station broadcasted the funeral.
Subsidized and supported by the white liberals.
Minister Malcolm, I'd like to...
Well, I could cite one example would be Congressman Dawson, for example, in Chicago. In Chicago, a large number of liberals located in the Hyde Park district have consistently fought Dawson and his betrayals of the Negro, and they've also fought some of the people who represent Dawson on the Chicago City Council.
The only Negro I know who is constantly fought, only Negro politician that I know who is constantly fought by white liberals is Adam Clayton Powell. And they call him a racist because he speaks so bluntly on the race issue. But I'm not, as I said, not too familiar with Dawson and his.
Well, everything happened so instantaneously, I really can't say exactly what happened. I don't know if I woke my husband up or he woke me up, but I remember him pushing me out of the bedroom door, and I looked to my right, and I saw all of the fire, and I saw smoke, and I heard the glass being broken, you know, on the side windows on the left, and I heard the roaring of the fire.
How did you get out?
Well, my husband made me stay at the back door so that I could get some air, and he brought the baby to me and told me to stand there. Then he brought my other children to me.
Minister X, you have described the Muslim movement as a religious organization, and you've said that there are a great many misconceptions about your attitudes and stated views. Could we press for a very simple answer to one question. Do you hate all white people?
I don't think it's a fair question. The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or cattle or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will, and then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
Okay.
What is technology? What can it do?
When I lost my eyesight, I thought that my painting days were over.
How far can we go?
By using your hands, you can actually control your X-ray.
Technology has the power to unite us.
Hang on, honey. Hang on.
There he is.
You see him? I can see him.
It inspires us. Technology has taken us places we've only dreamed.
Now I can do whatever I want.
It gives hope to the hopeless.
So your device is on. Can you hear me talking?
And it has given voice to the voiceless.